This is Chapter 2 video, Part 2. Alright, so we've talked about the ESIL, the ESO lens, and Chapter 2. Now I want us to look at an example, and this actually came from some COVID-19 information that was posted. This is a graph that really shows how we can have a misrepresentation of data. So let's take a look at this example, and that'll finish up Chapter 2. Here is an age distribution of U.S. COVID-19 cases. This was from early on. I'm trying to remember when I got this, but I want to say like, March or early April. So that's one thing to take into consideration. And that should be, I feel like, down here somewhere. The date for the data would be good. So this is probably like late March or early April. And one of the another Roan State instructor, and I don't think it was a math professor, but a Roan State person sent me this and was shocked at this because there's some things wrong here. Now, notice it does start with 0%, so that's good. And that's kind of weird, but it does have our axis labeled, percent share of cases in each age bracket. So you might think, oh, well, there's nothing wrong with this graph, but man, that age group right there really needs to be concerned. But here's where, if you're not careful and you don't pay attention to the graphs that you're looking at, yes, that's a peak. That is a very large difference, almost twice as much as some of them, or more than twice as much as some of them. However, two things. One, this should be a histogram, which means the bars should be touching. This is continuous data. Age is a continuous variable. The other thing to note, and this is the real kicker here, are our class widths. So 0 to 19. Now, technically, because 0 counts as an age, that's going to be 20. 20 to 44, that's 25 years. 45 to 54, again, if we think about, if I start counting at 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, then that's actually 10 numbers. So there's 10 ages. There's 10 ages, there's 10 ages, there's 10 ages, and then 85 plus. Well, just today, June 18th, on the news, they were talking about a singer from England who just passed away, and she was 103. There are people who live beyond that. So even if we just go to 100, that's 15 or more. So 15 plus years, there's no cutoff there. And so we don't have equal class widths. And that is one major thing. We must have equal class widths. And that's what I was talking about as far as earlier on the second slide. You don't need to worry about trying to figure out what your class width should be based on you have this range of data and you want so many classes, so what should your class width be so that you can have that? Don't worry about trying to calculate that. What I do care about you knowing is that your class widths should all be the same. So this should be 0 to 9, 10 to 19, 20 to 29, 30 to 39, 40 to 49, and so on. And up until we just don't have any, when you're going this way, if you get to 90 to 99 and then 100 to 109 and there's no data there, then you can just stop and you can say, so far we haven't had anybody over 109 who has died of COVID-19 or has contracted COVID-19. So these are the types of things that are most important. And what I want you, as a student who has taken my stats class, to walk away with. I want you to walk away with an understanding enough of an understanding of how graphs are made and how graphs should be made that you can look at this graph and not freak out and say, oh my gosh, 20 to 44, they're just, it's awful. Well, yes, but they represent, that's the largest group. And so, of course there's going to be more there. If we had everybody the same class width, that would help us to see, well, is there really more there? Or since this is more than twice as much as the next 3 classes, then, you know, should this, if this is cut in half, then, you know, then these other classes might be more susceptible. So there we go. So that's our chapter 2 supplemental video. If you have more questions, please, please, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I haven't gotten any chapter 2 questions yet, so I'm hoping that means that everyone's getting through the material okay. Chapter 2, like I said, is kind of a more straightforward, and so hopefully easier chapter to work on. All right, thanks for watching, and let me know if you have questions.